Hey, welcome to Three Conservative Gimps, where we give you the information you need to make a good decision at the ballot box. We give you all kinds of topics, anywhere from local to state to national and international, from a conservative view. So let's get this show going. Unfortunately, Lloyd won't be joining us tonight. He's not feeling too well. So, Lloyd, get well soon. We'd love to have you back as soon as possible. All right, let's get the show rolling. Let's bring in my co-host all the way from New York. Welcome, Charles.
Hey, everybody in the chat.
Yes, we
Lloyd,
got.
You can get rested up, and we'll see you Monday night.
Right. We got a lot to talk about. So DOGE is going after USAID, and they're really going after some of the wasteful spending. We're sending millions, even billions of dollars to these entities around the world for stuff. It just doesn't make sense. Like Iranian Sesame Street? What the hell? What's your thoughts on that, Charles?
Well, it's all pretty nutty. I have no problem with there being an Iranian version of Sesame Street.
Right.
But why is the U.S. government funding it?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and all these research projects, like condoms for rabbits. I don't know.
I didn't hear about that, but there's a lot of stuff. There was condoms for
for Afghanis.
No, it was so many millions of dollars for condoms in Palestine. Apparently,
yes, that's right.
Now here's the deal. Yes, we have this thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
But then what they're using them for is astonishing to me, and I don't know that I'm completely buying into it. Something's a little odd with this. Apparently, they're filling them with helium, writing something in Arabic on them, and then attaching them to bombs to float over Israel. And then, of course, when the helium will just take it up so far, and then the condom will pop, and then the bomb will drop in a random or somewhat random location. And apparently there's actually photographs of them holding 2 or 3 of these things, not the individual bombs, but 2 or 3 condoms that are all blown up like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's going to take way more than just 3 of these things to put a bomb in the air. What's wrong with this picture?
Yeah. I mean, you get a lot of condemnation from that. Yeah, it's screwy stuff like that, and it's not just overseas, but it's stuff here in the United States. I mean, the Dems are just going crazy. They're
Oh yeah.
just, oh man, they think we've taken away their favorite toy or something. Maybe we did take away their favorite toy.
Well, that's the whole idea, because a lot of these things, at least the ones that have been listed so far, are all to push. There was one thing to push atheism in Nepal, and then to push. It was was it a Caribbean nation or something? I don't remember, but it was like it wasn't. I don't know if it was Haiti, but it might have been some other Caribbean nation, to promote non-binary language, non-binary gender language in whatever they happen to be doing, and a ton of stuff that's like LGBTQ and trans stuff in South America, and it's like, well, no wonder it's exploding everywhere. Our government's backing it with hundreds of thousands, possibly even millions of dollars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My thing is, I'm hoping with all these cuts.
Hold on.
Oh, what? Oh, he disappeared. Hopefully these cuts will, make somewhat of a dent in our spending. Let's say hello to the folks in the chat. We've got Steve Knowles. Good to see you, Steve. Brian, Waypoint, New England. Joe, Captain Joe America, USA Drone Flyer. We've got Jay Bird. Welcome, welcome. Anybody else? Charles, of course. Charles, and yeah. So that's just some of the weird stuff going on. I'm going to pull up some of the stuff. Okay, 2 hours ago, DOGE was tasked with stopping Treasury payments to USAID, AP sources say. Okay. USAID is a federal agency charged with delivering humanitarian assistance overseas. Has been been a particular target of Donald Trump and Musk, both of whom have argued much of the agency's spending is wasteful. All right, sounds like Charles is back. Welcome back.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to. I was full. I wanted to set my mom up with a movie to watch, and I forgot to do that before coming on air. So I had to go take care of that.
Oh, okay, good. And yeah, it just looks like there's just a ton of fraud, and hopefully we could clean it up to where that aid is going to legitimate purposes, not just this junk. And some people are saying, why are we spending all this money overseas? Well, if you look back in history, when we had this kind of attitude, what happened? We had a couple world wars happening. And if we don't do something to, kind of stem the tide, otherwise, China will say, well, if you don't want to help out, we'll help you guys out. And those people will want to go towards China. So it's called looking for your self-interest. And right now, it's what's best for the United States. And yes, I believe we are spending too much money overseas, but I think we need to spend it in places where the money could be most effective and to help, stem the spread of terrorism. Like right after World War II, we had a lot of aid to Europe because that whole continent was just in ruins because of the war. Same with
Uh-oh. Well, folks, it looks like, there
okay,
we are.
I'm back. So, and that's why we have programs like that.
I mean, yeah, at first it was a good thing to try and help the world rebuild after World War II because the United States was incredibly prosperous. We were riding high, but then the rest of the world just continued to, as the saying goes, suckle at our teats, and now, we've got flat teats.
Right. And we gotta
take care. We need to pull in and take care of ourselves. Although, I do have to say, considering what we were funding, what has been exposed through this now, what we were funding,
right,
we've spread so much crap all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this really has to be. We really have to have a change of heart about our country and what we do. Not just pulling back economically. We've got to get the soul of our nation together and say, hey,
right,
we're not going to spread any more crap like this.
Right. So what else? Oh, we were just talking before the show about Gaza. And to me, that's a head scratcher where Trump's talking about taking over Gaza. I mean, is he talking about pushing those people out of Gaza? I mean, what's he going to do? I mean, he's talking about leveling damaged buildings and rebuilding it to be the equivalent of the Riviera of the Mediterranean. Or maybe
well, he's sort of looking at, as typical, he's looking at it from a real estate. He's looking from a realtor's perspective.
Right.
Improve it. Now, yes, I mean, not Pam Bondi, sorry. Caroline Levitt.
Right.
Showed pictures of what it's like over there, and it's not habitable.
Right.
Even if we can't turn it into the Riviera of the Middle East, we can at least turn it revitalize the cities and get Hamas out. Revitalize the cities, and really give people an opportunity for a democratic two-state solution.
Right. Yeah, and maybe he's on to something. Sometimes you need to have bold ideas to to push the needle, so to speak.
Well, that's true, especially in that area. It's not just a bold idea, but it's a sort of boy, forgiveness really isn't the right word, but the way that they've gotten support over there is because things are so bad economically, and then they turn that to say the U.S. is evil, Israeli is evil,
Right.
because these two are together, they're both horrendous because things are economically bad. But if you can improve the area economically, then that bitterness goes away, and if you can stop the killing,
Right.
then again, that's another aspect of it. Then you're not creating just another generation of martyrs. You're creating
Right.
a generation of people that could maybe get that could coexist quite well with each other the way they did a couple thousand years ago.
Right. 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 I like to see them turn that around, and I think the problem is Iran's the one that's feeding into the terrorist activity, especially Hamas. But now Iran is on the ropes because Israel's pretty much destroyed their defensive capability and their weaponry, and they're not going to be able to replenish those damaged goods or devices because Russia's got their hands full. They're at war right now. Unless China wants to come in, and I don't think China wants to be involved because they're trying to stay away from that. Okay, Brian says he told Iran that he wants them to have a great country, but they can't have nukes, and it would be okay. All right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the old mob. Boy, it'd be a real shame if one of them nukes happened to go off. Just like accidentally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at what happened with the Russians before the Soviet Union fell. They had a reactor that blew up
Yeah,
and
Chernobyl.
spread radioactive debris. I mean, the town of Pripyat is
It's still not
uninhabitable.
inhabitable.
Yeah. And it's amazing how nature has retaken that city. And there's plants growing, and evidently it hasn't damaged the wildlife, the wolves and any deer and animals there. They're haven't killed them off. They may have some genetic problems down the road, but they're still thriving. So
There was some kind of a massive ant colony there that was sort of like feeding on itself. It was really bizarre.
right. Yeah. Interesting. And so yeah, that's with a nation like Iran that probably doesn't have, I don't know, safety as their high priority there,
Yep.
and so say they got a reactor going, and they have the same problem the Russians did. I mean, those people are going to be in deep doo-doo, and I think they built that reactor right in the heart of Tehran or near Tehran, so to keep Israel from bombing it. And it's deep underground as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus,
And
things are so close over there that if things went Tango uniform with a reactor in Iran, it would affect all those other countries really
right,
very easily.
yes, yes. And we got Ronnie. Good to see you, Ronnie. Good to have you. So yeah, we're talking about Gaza and what Trump has in. Yeah, that you're on to something, Joey.
Well, if we don't have to spend any money on it or do anything unethical,
Right?
I have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Huh, boy, this show is going by really fast.
Is it really?
Yeah, we're only 20 minutes, 21 minutes into the show. So, Pam Bondi, she's been confirmed as Attorney General. That's good to see. Yay. And,
I get it. I get this feeling that this woman is a shark, but a shark on the right side of the law and the right side
yeah,
of morality. I want to see her go to work. I want to see her go to town.
yeah, me too. I think she's going to, yeah, really clean up the Justice Department. And,
Well, does she? Would she have that? I'm wondering if the authority structure is like that. Wouldn't the Justice Department be telling her what to do, who
hmm.
to prosecute, and whatnot?
I I don't know. Merrick Garland, her predecessor, he's been he's where oh there we go. There we go. I'll take that down. Uh yeah, so it's either I think it is under her purview as Justice Department because that's how Merrick Garland was able to weaponize the Justice Department to
Oh, okay.
yeah to go after Trump with all these cases and stuff. It's just crazy. Oh yeah, Cool Cat made a
Hmm.
good point. Yes, he did do that. That's executive order, but the problem with that is the next Democrat that gets elected will undo all of that. So that just I have no idea about that, Joey. As long as they're not pushing, their values on anybody, I have no problem with that. It
Yeah.
just that the lunatics that Biden put in, like that Levine gal, that admiral, I'm like going,
Oh, yeah.
and that guy, what was his name? Steve something that was stealing luggage at the airport. Yeah.
Yeah. That's somebody who's deeply troubled.
Hmm. So, yeah, as long as, my governor here is openly gay and he and his partner have adopted a son, and I have no problem with that. Uh, as long as it's not affecting me or anybody else, I have no problem with that. So, Trump is trying to pick good people into positions that are loyal and that know what they're doing. That that are proficient in what their position is. Like Pam Bondi, she's
Yep.
a former attorney general down in Florida. And Cash Patel, I think was in law enforcement. I think he was even a defense attorney at one time. And now he's working for is it the FBI that he's going to be running?
Cash Patel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Waypoint, New England. Well, my governor, he's a liar, plain and simple. He likes to
Yep.
tell everybody, I'm a libertarian. I'm really, I'm for rights. Yeah, only if it's the rights of the government. He's anti First Amendment when it comes to people's religious beliefs. We got a baker here that he's being sued right and left because he won't bake a cake with a gay theme on it or for a gay person. And it's like, they're bakers all over the place. I mean, would they ever go to a Muslim baker and do that? No, they'd rather go after a Christian. It's funny how the Muslim bakers are excluded.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we got Michael Cool Cat. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. And what else is going on? Man, we're just where's Lloyd? We need Lloyd. Not that you're boring or anything, Charles. It's just that I'm, running out of topics here. Anything you could think of?
I can't really think of much that we haven't already touched on.
Right.
Yeah, everything is so happening so quickly.
Right.
There's not much to get any meat a hold of, because
Right.
Trump and Gaza, we have to kind of sort of wait and see how that plays out before we
Right.
can even guess on what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Or
Yeah.
with the tariffs, with Canada and Mexico.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody's saying,
that was
everything's
one and
going
done.
good. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
that got resolved. And I was watching a video on TikTok from one of my former city councilmen here in Aurora, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about how tariffs, if Trump gets into a trade war with Europe, it's going to make everything expensive. It's like, yeah, but we got a bigger trade imbalance with Europe than what do we get from Europe other than automobiles and maybe some appliances? Like
I don't know. I don't even know what we get from Europe. The
well,
only stuff I ever get from Europe are little food delicacies like jelly babies, or once I ordered a can because I wanted to try it of this British thing called spotted dick,
yeah,
and so but it was made by Hunt's or something like that. And I'm thinking, this can't really be what it's like over there. If somebody makes this in their own house,
right.
what would it really be like?
Let's see. We do import like Volkswagen and Fiat
Yeah.
and some of their sports cars, but they're building those over here right now. So
And didn't Fiat? I mean, I thought Fiat merged with Jeep
Chrysler,
or yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But that also
Mhm.
included Jeep.
Yeah. Jeep, Chrysler. I think they just dropped Plymouth. I don't think they have Plymouth anymore.
Well, Plymouth was gone a long time ago.
Yeah. So, yeah. And they're still not in really good shape either. What? Yeah. Oh,
Steve was
yeah.
saying we got a Harry, as in Harry and Meghan. It's like, well, they can keep that.
Uh-huh. And oh yeah, that's right, Ronnie. $8 for a dozen eggs. Yes, I paid $8.50 the other day for a dozen eggs. Why? Because Colorado, our illustrious legislature, which is now controlled by the Democrats, decide, you know what? We need to force Coloradans to only get cage-free eggs. So, and then on top of that, you got the bird flu, where hundreds of thousands of chickens were slaughtered, and that drove up the price of eggs as well. But mainly here in Colorado, we're just stuck with, getting only eggs that come from chickens that are cage free. And it drives up the price. Why not let the marketplace decide?
Yeah.
If people want to buy cage free eggs, let them. And if people want to buy, cheaper eggs, that's okay
Yeah.
too. It just seems like every time Democrats, when they get in control of something, they just screw up the price of everything.
Yeah. With all this nanny state crap.
Mm-hmm. And then you have what happened in California. No water in the reservoir. What happens? They get a big ass wildfire up there, and all these houses burn because, the hydrants are dry. Yeah. All because of a little tiny fish, which is, I hate to say this, but animals go extinct, and sometimes, you know what? They come back. Sometimes nature has a way of healing itself. Yeah.
Yes. In the words of Ian Malcolm, nature finds a way.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So Ronnie wanted to know where's Lloyd. Lloyd is under the weather. He's not feeling very well, and hopefully he will be back with us. We'll be back on his show on Monday.
Yeah.
So I think his little trip to Fort Smith probably took a lot of energy out of him. So.
Yes.
And the main problem, people are happy to pay a little extra for free range eggs. Problem is, they just change. That's right. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like the soup Nazi. No eggs for you. No cage eggs for you. You only buy one kind of egg.
Now, on the upside about that,
Yes.
locally, I don't know. I'm assuming this brand is nationwide. But locally, I was able to get a dozen large eggs my Nature's Promise brand for like $3.99.
Oh, oh,
All the local farm eggs were way more expensive. Now,
yeah.
you know, sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. The only
Yeah.
problem with that is that um, I've I've read that Nature's Promise is a Chinese-owned company.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the cheap inferior Chinese chickens, where they only go buck 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 buck. I mean, how did they say? How did they cluck in
They go bok
Chinese?
choy.
Bok choy, yeah. Peking duck. Yep, that's right. The Waffle House raised their prices 50 cents. Mm-hmm.
Well, Cool Cat has got a great idea. Have your own chickens.
Yep. Oh,
It's going to be pricey up front because you got to build them a coop, and then you've got to
yep.
feed them. But
Yep. Well, look at our friend Alexis. She raises chickens and ducks, and she gets fresh eggs from
yeah,
them. And I have some friends here in the Denver area that have their own raise their own chickens. I even have one friend. She's got goats, so she gets goat milk and makes her own cheese.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. My
Yeah.
grandfather used to raise chickens, but he didn't keep them around for the eggs. I don't know if we ever got eggs from him. He used to raise them, to slaughter them so that we could have chicken for our other holidays. Because we'd
Right.
have, for Easter and Christmas, we'd have chicken, and then of course he'd set aside two or three for, my mom's family and her two sisters' families.
Oh,
So
cool. Cool.
yeah, yeah, Bank McDonald's affordable again.
Yeah. When I was over in the Philippines, there are chickens everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And the problem is, those chickens are pretty scrawny looking. uh,
Well, the big thing is what are the eggs like?
yeah. Oh, I've had some great eggs, when I was there. Fresh eggs,
Yeah.
especially when I was in Irene's place. Yep. And I've noticed the yolks are more orangey color.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. They seem to have a better flavor, more the
It's a
yolky.
richer flavor. It's
Yeah.
nice. I mean,
Hmm.
I got some. I decided once to pop the extra buck or two and get. They had a dozen large eggs, and they were the multicolored ones. Like you got three or four brown eggs, and some that were greenish, and some that were bluish. But all the inside was all the same. It was that redder orange yolk, very rich.
Right.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Uh-huh. Hmm. So,
This is about a month or so ago, maybe two.
right. Hmm. So,
Now the local Trader Joe's. I was lucky to find some eggs there this past Monday.
right. Yeah, there was a while there we didn't have eggs. I mean, the egg shelves were empty, and that was during the bird flu pandemic, and we just couldn't get any, eggs in.
Yeah.
And so now there's restocked and it's expensive. Huh.
Well,
So hopefully,
we just get them breeding again, and the price will come down pretty soon.
yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
speaking of prices come down, that's another thing. The the Democrats were screaming about how Biden had improved the economy so much. And now
Right.
Trump is in office. They think overnight the prices are going to come down,
Right.
and they're going to be vicious about it. It's like, no, this is going to take a little bit of time, but it is going to happen.
Right. And what did one of the things Trump
Good night,
do?
Ronnie.
Oh, good night, Ronnie. He decided to open up the oil fields.
Yeah.
And that's going to drive down the price of fuel, and that's going to, make energy costs lower, and that's going to overall lower the price of just about everything.
Yep.
Yeah. So, now.
But it's going to take time because.
Yes.
Because you've got to, get clearance, build the wells, and so on and so forth. And actually, I'm probably restart some wells in places, maybe.
Right. And finish that Keystone pipeline. Finish that up.
Yeah.
That's going to take a while. Yep. And so, oh yeah, we talked about Trump banning boys and girls sports. That's good. And which is a good thing. And here in Colorado, they're trying to pass a bill or get on the ballot protecting women's sports. And I always thought that the Democrats, they were all for protecting people. It just doesn't seem like they're really into that these days. Only certain people.
Well, they're so rabidly anti anything Trump, rabidly anti anything conservative.
Right.
They've lost the vision.
Right.
Of what it really is to help people, and
right.
what might be required. Just spreading money everywhere, especially for small slices of the population.
Right.
Doesn't really help everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Money has to be spent wisely. And sometimes it takes, elbow grease along with or instead of money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Holy crap.
Wow. Yep. Some people up in the Northeast still use oil for heating.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But our electric bill isn't anywhere near that.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the Christmas lights running and everything.
Mm-hmm. I remember my dad talking about that they use coal in their furnace, and how he had to
go on.
Yeah, you had to shake the clinkers, get all the clinkers out. Otherwise, they'll just build up, and it'll open up the door, and these hot clinkers will just push right out the furnace door. Yeah, so you have to shake them up, break them up, and empty them. So.
Yeah, apparently, when my grandfather, my grandmother, and my mom first moved into the house where they lived, when my mom was a kid, they had a coal furnace, but I don't know. I think eventually that, they got away from that. I think eventually they got a kerosene one.
Mm-hmm.
This all happened long before I was born. By the time I was born and living in that house,
right?
We had the kerosene furnace.
Yep. Yeah, places I've lived, it's either gas or electric for heating. Like right now, my apartment is gas, and I don't know if you can hear it, but the furnace just kicked in,
No,
and
I can't hear. Ours is running. Ours is running right now, but you probably can't
right.
hear that.
So yeah, so that's what's going on. Nothing other than have we heard anything more from the plane crash in DC?
The DC plane crash. Um, yeah, there were a couple people have arrested. It was a couple people, I guess, saw what was going to go on and used their cell phones. They accessed the security files and downloaded that to their cell phones and then released it via their cell phones. And those two guys that did that got arrested.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what
And
about the
other than the pilot, uh, possibly not having enough flight hours. She had 500 flight hours, but she was in there with an instructor taking training. So
right,
I don't know how all that falls together.
right?
What was I going to say about that? That's the only new information that I got.
Uh-huh. And anything new about the crash in Philly?
Uh, I haven't heard anything. No.
Yeah, because I've been seeing a lot of video, and it just seems like the plane just nosed right in, and so that sounds like a mechanical problem to me.
Well, I haven't seen all that footage. I've just seen the fireball hitting the ground.
Right,
And one of my Facebook friends released the ATC chatter. 1 minute they're talking to the plane, and then the next minute, they're trying to reach out and contact the plane again, and they can't. And all of a sudden, you know, one of the controllers says, we're missing a plane.
wow,
And I know some people that I've spoken with think that maybe the plane was sabotaged because supposedly this plane would fly, even though it was an air ambulance, would regularly fly back and forth from Mexico.
right,
That it was registered in Mexico.
okay. Yeah, from what I heard, it was on its way to Branson, Missouri, or somewhere in Missouri, and probably go from there, probably down to Mexico. But to be fair, Shriners does not discriminate because, you know, when I was where was I? Oh, I was at the Shriners Hospital in Salt Lake City, and they had a patient there that spoke no English, and that was my first experience with someone from Mexico. And so, yeah. And there is a Shriners Hospital down in Monterrey, Mexico. But,
So
and
what
there's,
was this a Shriners owned airplane?
no, I'm not sure I don't think it was. I don't know. That'd be something to look into. Yeah. I think it was just a kind of a generic flight uh,
Yeah.
ambulance plane, and the Shriners just happened to, you know, transport a patient back home. Yeah.
The whole thing is crazy.
Yeah, it is. And then there was another jet that just caught fire right at the gate, right as it pulled up to the gate, and there was a small fire, and I guess all the passengers got off, but it just totally engulfed the fuselage, the plane.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what's going on. So we got the Super Bowl coming up on
Sunday, yeah.
Sunday, and Hazel is predicting an Eagles win over the Chiefs, and that's my opinion as well.
Well, I don't know much about it, but I did hear some station I was watching earlier today. They've been having these two people on who I don't know go over that, and I think you might be right, because on the whole, it seems like the Eagles had a better year
Right?
than the Chiefs.
Yeah. Even though the Chiefs only lost one game, no, they lost two games. One was to the Broncos on the last game of the season, so they could rest up their players.
Oh, and on that sort of note, apparently the NFL is going to stop putting that end racism stuff at the ends of the field where the goalposts are, and just go back to having that team's banner logo on the goalpost area.
Good. And let's see.
We'll probably my mom's been here at the same time they're doing these commercials, because they almost play them back to back, is the commercial for the Puppy Bowl. And I know my mom wants to watch at least a little bit of the Puppy Bowl, just to see what that's going to be all about.
Mm-hmm. And I hear that some of the ads have already been played on before the Super Bowl, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why are they doing that? I mean, the whole point of the Super Bowl was to, get people to watch for the commercials, because they used to have some of the
Best commercials ever. Cool. Yeah.
Like, what was that? Monkey Puppy Baby? Oh, that was a weird one.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
And then there was the one where they had the QR code on the screen. I'm like, going, what the? Turned out, what was it? Was it a brokerage firm or something?
Probably. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that was one of the first big GoDaddy ads.
Right, GoDaddy.
I mean, the insanely gorgeous woman in a courtroom. You know, it was the equivalent, the GoDaddy equivalent of a Hooters waitress uniform.
Right.
In a courtroom, and they were raising a ruckus about how gorgeous she was, and it's just, it got GoDaddy an insane amount of attention.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, and who could forget the Clydesdales?
Oh yeah, that's all class. That's 100% pure class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, some of the biggest and best commercials have come out of the Super Bowl. Now Disney did one, and they released it, and it's ridiculous, because it's a what if commercial.
Right.
And they're talking about they're saying, what if this TV show or movie didn't exist, and what if this TV show or movie didn't exist, or what if this? And then they go, luckily, this does exist, and this does exist, and this does exist, all on Disney Plus and Hulu. But the thing is, they focused on all of these properties, intellectual properties, that they didn't have a hand in.
Okay.
And then although The Lion King was one of them, they went with the most recent release, which was the live action Mufasa Lion King, about Mufasa growing up to be the Lion King.
Ah,
So
okay.
they put it's just a few seconds to make their point. And it's like, nobody cares about that. If you're
Right.
going to reference the Lion King, reference the beloved original animated version. Okay?
Right.
Stick with properties that Disney has created, not just properties that they have bought up from other people.
Right. Mm-hmm. And well, Progressive used to have some pretty amazing
Yes.
ads.
Yeah.
Like the so easy a caveman could do it. Now it's like
Yes.
the latest caveman commercial is like really was a dud. It just didn't hit with me. It was they were playing some kind of word game, and he just it was just really
Ridiculous.
nonsense. Where the guy said, "I have a strange twin brother," and so he asked, "What's his name?" He goes, and it's I don't know. Somebody said,
The caveman goes, "What's his name?" Kind of outsmarting the non-caveman guy who's there.
yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
it. He's got one little line. There's nothing.
Uh-huh. Let's see. Oh, my favorite was with the pig. Oh, that was funny. Oh, he was going wee
Yes, yes,
Walter.
yes. Where he's got the pinwheel out the car window.
Yeah, Walter, we're here.
Okay, thanks, Mrs. Whatever. I forget her name.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, it'll be something to see if Geico has an interesting one.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Cool Cat's got a good point. And if I could,
Yeah. Stop racism
show
is
it.
such a weird generalized statement.
Mm-hmm. There we go. And socialist. There we go. Mm-hmm. The problem with that is, then you got these intelligentsia, and they'll say, "But we'll do it better."
Yeah.
They always, those guys didn't do it right. But we'll do it better. You know. So we got a couple more minutes. Anything new? I know we got elections coming up for state party chair of the GOP. Hopefully, we can pick a grown up for a change, somebody that could raise money for the party. Where the last guy spent the money on himself and a bunch of his buddies to try to win their primaries, and they all lost. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think
yeah,
there's any elections coming up in New York anytime soon.
right.
Although, I wonder, because my mom asked me, what was happening with Elise Stefanik. She was supposed to have been appointed a diplomat somewhere or an ambassador.
Yeah. I think the Democrats are really screwing around with their seat somehow. So,
Well, of course.
yeah. Yeah, so that's what's but anyway, we're getting close to that hour.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please tell everybody about the show. Let's grow this channel. Let's try to get monetized. We're so close to 500. Once we get to 500 and we get 3,000 watch hours, then we could become monetized. Not ads though. Not ads. So that you need 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. So everybody have a great week. Don't forget Artco Drones and Entertainment tomorrow night. We'll be talking about Jaybird's favorite topic, Philly Mike. So, and we'll talk about another drone pilot who had his drone run over by a male Karen. So stay tuned. Have a great week and take care and God bless. Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.